For my final project, I have conducted interviews with two members of the Syracuse women's rowing team, Sarah Konashevsky and Lexi Dorner. In this interview, we discuss one's ability to reach their human limits and how it relates to our sport of rowing. As an endurance athlete, how would you define reaching your human limits within your sport, and what does it take for you to get there?
In rowing, there are two different types of training that go on, both aerobic and anaerobic. And aerobic training is what's training our bodies to be able to push ourselves to what we like to call our human limits. When you're doing those anaerobic workouts, sometimes it's difficult to keep going, but when you push your body through that, you're pushing that human limit to new levels that you weren't able to train at before.
Like rowing or erging and doing a hard piece, and I know that I can't feel like any part of my body. I know that that's, I'm going as hard as I can, and that kind of helps because like even though I went as hard as I could, that helps me for the next time. It gives me another like kind of gear to go to. Last year going as hard as I can is different than going as hard as I can this year, so I don't know, it just kind of builds upon itself.
What do you think it is that has made you into a person who is willing to push yourself to those limits?
I think it's just part of who I am. I mean, anyone can watch like an inspirational movie and be like, wow, like I want to be like that, but I feel like it's like deep down when you're actually doing it and you actually want to die, there's just something that keeps you going, and I feel like it's just part of you to keep going.
I remember being in the last 600 meters of that 2K and thinking that I would not be able to finish. My legs were burning. My body was just feeling like it was about to shut down. But I thought about quickly for a second, of course, about how much training we had done over the winter and how our aerobic training, doing long distance stuff, helped prepare for this 2,000 meter test. And I was able to keep going and push through and finish. I've always loved having a competitive edge, and I love training, and I think that has motivated me to be the athlete that I am. And training with thinking that there are other teams, other individual athletes that could be training harder than I am has helped me become the motivated athlete that I am today.
Endurance sports like rowing allow us to be aware of our human limitations as well as to be able to overcome them. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. These words are posted on the wall of our training facilities. These words are there to constantly remind us that we need to have faith in ourselves, our teammates, and our own physical abilities.
Together. 3. 1 lock and swing together. 5.
It is clear that not everyone is able to push themselves or their bodies to tolerate such immense amounts of pain. The mindset that's necessary for one to be able to push themselves to that human limit is one that's primarily seen with endurance athletes.